Sarika Kulkarni is a development practitioner, academic, and an author. She has served as a professor at a leading business school in Mumbai, initiated and scaled up an ITES business, and made her mark by starting and establishing Ra Foundation, an NGO that has directly impacted over 30,000 indigenous people. Ra Foundation has contributed to making the village's water secure, creating agriculture and agri-based entrepreneurial opportunities, facilitating health interventions, and helping the communities adapt and mitigate climate change. Dr. Kulkarni's contributions to development have won accolades from many national and international organizations. She serves on several important national and international councils and think tanks. Currently, Dr. Kulkarni is the founder and chief executive director of the Ra Foundation and member of SARNET.
Greetings to all of you, Ayubowan and Namaste, to Dr. Sarika, who's joining the episode 4 of Barish Sanvaad. So we are about to witness another International Women's Day. The theme is there's more emphasis on equity-based approach to development, water, women, and equity-based development. If we take across South Asia, women spend a lot of time fetching water for their households. So, for example, in Nepal, in mountainous regions, they have to spend hours climbing uphill and coming back and returning home with their water pots. And if we take Sri Lanka, for that matter, then there are girls who will skip school because during their menstruation, if there is no access to water, so they miss out on education. And then similarly, in Maharashtra, I'm quoting from a webinar of SARNET last year. The indigenous tribal groups, they miss out on their cultural rituals as they have to fetch water. So given that situation, where are we as of today, as of 2023, with the SDGs and women? Are we in a better position? How would you see women today? Have they come forward as change makers in water governance? As the situation changed for better?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much at the outset for inviting me for this Barish Sanvaad. It's very interesting, and thank you for the opportunity to share our experiences of working with the indigenous communities in the mountains of Sahyadri mountain range, which is one of the most formidable mountain ranges in our country. Water poverty and water slavery is real, unfortunately. Over the years, however, through consistent efforts by the government and civil society organizations like ours, water access has definitely improved. While initially the focus was on enhancing the supply side of water, organizations like ours now take a holistic approach to water security, which entails working on demand side as well with equal vigor, if not more. While rainwater harvesting, building rainwater harvesting structures is a science, water governance is an art of managing water, managing people, and women are at the helm at the moment because they are expert in managing people, because we are used to managing our families. So managing people, and women are also used to managing their households. So managing water comes kind of naturally to them. So I think women are coming forward, albeit, you have to still kind of, in many areas, we have to force women, we have to coax women, we have to create, we do all kinds of story things to actually get women in the leadership roles. But however, we understand that the fact is that women understand their water better, and they can take proactive decisions to preserve it and make it more sustainable. And so basically we have to nudge women to come forward. While access has improved, I will still say that there is more need to actually work on the demand side of water. While supply side enhancement has happened over the years because of the persistent and consistent effort by the different entities, demand side there is a challenge, and women have to be brought into the leadership role to manage their water. And so that's the situation. So women have to be nudged to come forward, but once they come forward, there's no looking back.
As women, we can be happy that once they come forward, there's no stopping them. So with this equity-based approach, demand varies according to in an urban poor community may have different demands or different ways of accessing, whereas tribal groups may have different needs and different times in their routines. So I think what you were trying to say, what you were trying to highlight was that we need to, in addressing the demand side, all these needs have to be taken into account, particularly of women, because a one-size-fits-all approach will not work in providing access to water for women. What are your experiences and observations of women leaders in water governance, in particularly in the communities, among the tribal communities that you engage? How do they practice, and how do they come forward? What are some of the specificities which are not seen by the in the bigger picture when they make designs, development designs, which need to be taken into account?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think great question, Dhanushi. So basically, see, I mean, we as women are natural as far as conservation and preservation is concerned. We know what judicious usage means, whether it is money or whether it is water. We are always, we always use everything very judiciously. Hence, water governance and management actually comes very naturally to women. We have created a training program that looks at water management from women's perspective. Bringing that ecofeminism into practice is very critical for achieving the SDG 6, by 2030. So while water management committees we create are gender neutral, women assume the leadership roles, and they do awesome work, awesome job of being leaders of water management. Water is very safe in women's hand, and the best part is that they know and understand and appreciate this. So our experience has been that, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that they need to be nudged, they need to be trained, their capacity needs to be built. But once we create some role models, what we did initially was identify some fast early adopters, early women who were not reluctant to assume leadership roles, who were okay to kind of come forward and stand in the same line as men and become part of the same committees, assume leadership roles, etc. And once you actually find these women, you train them and create them as role models, and then your job is half done. Then they convince other women, they tell other women that how this is a woman's subject and it has to be better handled by women. And so, in fact, in our training programs also, we do a lot of scenario building, to nudge women. What we do is initially we train everybody. All women are in the village. We do scenario building, that we ask them this question, that what will happen if water becomes a man's subject? What will men do? And then we ask them the next question, that what will now happen if water is in your hands? What will you do differently that men will not do or men will do? And it's a very interesting, hilarious discussion, and women kind of make a lot of fun of men, that they will mess up the whole thing. They will take bath using drinking water, they will fill water for agriculture and use it for drinking and all kinds of things, because they don't understand water. And that's when we kind of say that this is exactly what we are saying, that you understand your water, you understand the priorities. We ask them, what is your priorities? Drinking water your priorities, or is farming your priority? And they say drinking water is our priority. So then if you have limited water, how will you conserve? So we have created all these scenario building exercises which we do with the women. And at the end of the session, they actually understand and realize, what big role they need to play if water has to be available, water has to be, if the communities have to become water secure. And once they understand that, they also understand that. So we work on all the requirements or water needs, like drinking water for human beings, drinking water for cattle, water for hygiene, water for livelihoods, which is farming. So while we work on all the different aspects of water, we understand that if women are, even for agriculture, actually women are better decision makers, because they also, indigenous women also understand agriculture. It's not that, they always help their men in the farms and stuff like that. So so a lot of these nudging and a lot of these capacity building and a lot of these bringing them to the fore, all those exercises needs to be done. In the initial period, we had to do a lot of these, but not anymore. Now we have so many women leaders in our water governance committees that it's just kind of replicating. We just go to a village and say that, we need women leaders, and we need 5 women leaders and 10 come forward. So, now luckily we have a very reverse scenario because of, years of effort and years of trust building. So I think women are awesome and great as water leaders. And this needs to be actually propagated across the world, where water needs to be a woman's subject and it needs to be looked at from an ecofeminism perspective.
Yes, I think it's awesome, lot of learning, and that itself, your experiences with the community itself can be another discussion itself. So all these, what women have got to say to men. So I guess now the task is to get men also drawn in to listen to women, as always a struggle for most of the time to get men to listen to women. But I'm sure you have created a lot of evidence-based success stories for men in the development sector to listen to the role models in the community. So that itself covered what I wanted. I had another question, so I think you answered it, like some of the strategies in getting women drawn into mobilizing. And also another thing that I want to ask you is, like, what are some of the strategies that you would use to bring men into the picture, uh, so that they join hands and they cooperate in this, because we need both
Absolutely.
the genders.
Absolutely. So while I keep on saying that water is a woman's subject, it is equally important for men, and having men in the decision-making body is equally important. But as you rightly said, that these should be the men who don't dominate women, but who are, are okay to listen to women and okay to respect the viewpoints that women have. So, so carefully choosing men is very important. But you get, I mean, it's the communities are amazing where we work in. There is a gender parity, and it is not difficult to get 5 or 6 men who actually respect women's opinions and thinking. Luckily, we are in that part of India where gender equality is a little much better as compared to some other parts of the country. So I think we as far as the indigenous communities is concerned, they are absolutely equal. Women and men, there's no difference at all. So there is no preference of male child, for example, over a girl child. There is no preference at all. So it's a amazing community, and there's so much to learn from them, honestly. So so our committees that we form, the water governance committees, are primarily a gender neutral committee where you have 50% women and 50% men. And while the top 2 positions in the leadership role are assumed by the men, by the women, there are men who also are leadership, who hold a leadership position. So typically 10 to 12 people, depending on the size of the village. 5 or 6 are women and 5 or 6 are men. And there are like 5 leadership positions, out of which 3 are held by women and 2 are held by men. And they are the ones who kind of, do all the take major decisions are taken by these 5 people, but the others' opinion is also important, and there it's discussed, but the final decision rests with these 5 people. And many times we have seen that men have something else to say, men have different opinion, women have a different opinion, and the chairperson of the committee is a woman, and she kind of ensures that the discussion is not gender motivated, but it is much more neutral. And so that's what we have seen. Women leaders are amazing. They actually listen to men, they listen to women, they listen to everybody, they listen to all sides of the story. And then many times the decisions are something that men suggested, but it's fine. And they have their own ways of convincing the women that this is good for our village, this is good for our community. Because women are kind of, they give birth to family, they take care of the family. The family's interest is always something that motivates them to take decisions. So kind of, I have seen that kind of, I'm not saying that men don't take care of their family. Men are amazing as far as, taking care of their families also. But somehow men are more economically motivated, women are more family motivated. So that is the characteristic feature which kind of plays a very important role in taking critical decisions as far as water is concerned. So women leaders are amazing, but somehow women have been little low on self esteem, self confidence, and they have not assumed leadership roles in the past. So we have to work harder with women as compared to men as far as this leadership is concerned. But other than that, I think once they get there, they are awesome. So, and men are too amazing. They listen to women. They respect the opinions of the women. And over a period of time, what I have seen is, even though initially maybe when the committee is formed, when they start taking decision, when they start discussing, men are little wary, but then over a period of time, they realize the wisdom that women bring to the table. Things become much more smoother over a period of time.
So one last question now with regards to what are, like, would you be able to give two or three recommendations about, like, say, the important of women leaders, how to get their contribution in, to development, like which is like beyond considering it's something beyond equal opportunities. Like what are the key one or two recommendations that you would like to keep at this point?
Yeah, sure. So one which I mentioned in my previous answer, that creating separate training programs for women is very important, because it's not one size fits all. There are different ways of training men, and there should be different ways of training women. So we create different training programs for men and women in the beginning. But the going forward, say after a year, we do a lot of updation training programs. They are done together. But in the initial period, there's a little more push or nudge required to be given to the women as compared to men, is my experience. And as a result, a little more customized training program in the beginning. After a year, you don't need to do that. You can just put them together in the same room and give the same training program. So that's one suggestion based on my experience. The second is institutionalizing awards for women leaders and women water leaders is very important, where you kind of recognize the efforts they are taking, recognize, and we also give it to men, by the way. We have water leaders, and we have women water leaders, men water leaders, because ultimately water is preserving water and making water sustainable is most important. Whether men do it, women do it, honestly it doesn't matter. But giving that special recognition to women, because we have an International Women's Day, it becomes very easy to recognize women. So we do that. The awards are based on water and women and their leadership they show in making water sustainable and available and things like that. And of course, creating a network of water women leaders and mentoring wherever required, creating those mentoring opportunities wherever required. Because as I said, in the initial period, demonstration effect really plays a very critical role as far as women leadership is concerned. That if you tell them that in so and so village, that if I tell them that you should do this, you should do that, it has little effect as compared to if I tell them that in that village something like this happened, and then you get a woman leader from the other neighborhood village, and she comes and talks about what she did to make her village water secure or water positive. It makes a more impact, and then she becomes a mentor to these group of women until required and stuff like that. So creating those mentorship opportunities and best practice sharing among peers, and so that is something which is also has worked very well for us.
So, in short, recognizing the important role played by men and women will have will pay in the long run. Recognizing them with awards and mentoring them, helping them to network and share learning. So, thank you, Dr. Sarika, for those amazing insights. Thank you very much from SARNET. I go and